So we got UFC France coming up this Saturday, September 3rd. It's going to be on noon in the West Coast time. And it's going to be a very fun card. A very, very fun card. We got ourselves Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori, middleweight division. You know, I'm actually very excited for this fight because both these guys are action-packed fighters. You know, even though, excuse me, I shouldn't say both, because we've seen their last outings. Well, not their last outings. We've seen Robert Whittaker's last outing. He wasn't super exciting with the champ, Israel Adesanya. Neither was Marvin Vettori with Israel Adesanya. Both of them were kind of not the greatest action-packed back-and-forth fights. Very, very high-tech. Marvin Vettori, unfortunately, he could have done so much more. Oh my God. Not exactly sure what he was trying to do. Not exactly sure what he was trying to accomplish by wrestling with, or trying to wrestle with Israel Adesanya. Doesn't necessarily seem like he was even trying to wrestle. He was just going chasing for a takedown the whole 5 rounds. It's like, what are you trying to do, dude? After the first 1, maybe even 2 rounds, not working, time to change up your schedule. That's just my personal opinion. That was Marvin Vettori. You got Robert Whittaker, who a lot of people, you listen to some of the MMA community, some people actually scored it for Robert Whittaker. You know, it was actually a very close, high technical fight. Wasn't, again, action-packed. But Robert Whittaker obviously did a lot better than his first fight. His first fight with Izzy got knocked out, completely just dominated. So Marvin Vettori's last outing, though, was against Paulo Costa, and that was a very good action-packed fight. You know, even though Paulo decided to not make weight, and it was at light heavyweight. It was scheduled at middleweight, but here we are. It was a great fight. Great fight. Marvin Vettori looked great in that fight. Continued just dominated Paulo, excuse me. I wouldn't necessarily say dominated where the fight was stopped. It went all 5 rounds, but just looked really, really good. And you got Robert Whittaker, who has not returned since his defeat against Israel Adesanya. And prior to that, you know, he was on a good, I want to say, 3, maybe 4 fight win streak. You got Calvin Gastelum, you had Darren Till, and then I think you even had Derek Brunson. Maybe a Jared Cannonier. I know there was somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure I'm missing 1 or 2, or maybe overusing them. Not sure. But nonetheless, he's been on a tear. He's been looking really, really good, aside from his Israel Adesanya fight, which, again, some people think he won. Now, here we are in this fight. For Robert Whittaker, if he loses, it's really hard to say because, again, he just beat everybody in the middleweight division. He is literally, if it wasn't for Israel Adesanya, he is by far the best middleweight champion right now. You can't deny him. Like, literally, everybody that you can name in that division, he's already went toe-to-toe with. So I can't really see who we want to put him up against. Maybe if he does lose a Sean Strickland, maybe the loser of the Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya fight, you know, possibly a Jack Hermanson. There's a couple of things in there to keep him busy. Or does he go to light heavyweight instead? Because, again, like, he's already fulfilled everything he could fulfill within the middleweight division. And do I see him getting another title shot with a win? Now we are, what happens to Robert Whittaker if he wins? He's already lost 2 in a row with Israel Adesanya. He came pretty close. So now it's just all about to him. You know, if he does win this victory, does he get another title shot? Personally, for me, I don't see it. Could you give it to him? Sure. Robert Whittaker is a name. And again, that last fight was close, but definitely wasn't exciting. And I definitely would not 100% put it as a pay-per-view headliner. None whatsoever. All depending on Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. See how that goes. Now, of course, if Israel loses, then absolutely. You know, if Alex Pereira is your new champ, I don't see a Robert Whittaker versus Alex Pereira happening right away. You would have to go with Izzy versus Alex Pereira rematch. But if anybody else is champ, 100% Robert Whittaker should get a title shot. If Israel Adesanya is still your champ, it's up to Robert Whittaker. If Robert Whittaker wants to continue in the middleweight division, wants to continue to pursue that championship, then he could. There is still a few little challengers here. You got Sean Strickland, you got Jack Hermanson, and you know, you have all these other possibilities of other people from welterweight moving up, because we also hear about Hamzat Chimaev. That's another one. Now, Marvin Vettori, again, another guy who actually could make light heavyweight. His last fight was at Pablo Costa as a light heavyweight. So, with a loss, does he move up? Or does he decide to try again? He is not super went through the list. He did go against Paulo Costa. He did go against Israel Adesanya, against Jack Hermanson, against, I believe, Kevin Holland, and I don't think that other than Robert Whittaker now. He still has a few names he could go through, a few attempts to go after Robert Whittaker if he does win or if he loses. You have Sean Strickland, you got Derek Brunson, you got Jared Cannonier, Alex Pereira. You got quite a few names that he could go through if he wants another chance at that middleweight championship. Now, again, if he does win, I don't see for sure, 100% do not see him, even if Alex Pereira does get that championship, him getting a shot, just due to his performance against Israel Adesanya in his championship title fight with him. I do not see it. So that leaves the question, what's going to happen with these guys both win or lose? It's very interesting, but as far as the fight goes altogether, very fun fight. Very fun fight, both of them. Very stylistically, really good match. I do not see a lot of grappling in this match. I do see a lot of striking. Robert Whittaker is a very, very high caliber kickboxer. You got Marvin Vettori, who is just like a trained, he is very, very super muscular, very strong. Definitely would like to try to imply the grappling, but, Robert Whittaker himself, you look at those fights against the highest grappler of all, Yoel Romero. And Yoel Romero had a tough time. So I definitely see this being possibly a fight of the year candidate. Definitely very excited for this fight. Definitely very excited. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think is going to happen with Robert Whittaker? Win or lose? What do you think is going to happen with Marvin Vettori? Win or lose? And what do you think the fight is going to be like? Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.